All right, let's just jump right in. You look at the economy these days, and it's kind of easy to feel a little bit of dread, right? But what if I told you the single best way to protect your money isn't some complicated stock or a fancy piece of property? What if it's actually the skills that live right between your ears? In this explainer, we're going to break down why you are the new best inflation hedge there is. Period.
Does this sound familiar? I mean, really familiar. You're working your tail off, you might even be getting those little raises, but when you look at your bank account at the end of the month, it just feels like you're not getting ahead, right? Prices for everything go up, your money buys a little less, and you have to run just a tiny bit faster to stay in the exact same place. It is absolutely exhausting.
So, what's the typical advice you always hear? It's always about playing defense, Cut back, cancel that streaming service, skip the daily coffee, and look, finding an extra $100 a month, that's great. Don't get me wrong, but it's not going to fundamentally change your financial future. The real power isn't in trimming a few expenses here and there. It's about going on offense. It's about exploding the other side of that equation, your income.
Okay, so you really have to understand the enemy here. In this inflationary world we're living in, your biggest opponent is just doing nothing. It's inaction. Think of it like a silent thief named inflation just sneaking in and stealing about 2.5% of your money's buying power every single year. And the worst part, you might not even notice it's happening.
And this is where the long-term damage becomes, well, painfully clear. At that same rate in roughly 24 years, every single dollar you've managed to save up will only buy half of what it can today. Half! Let that sink in. That's why just socking away cash in a savings account isn't going to cut it anymore. You have to out-earn that slow, steady erosion. So, how in the world do we do that?
Well, it all starts with step one. This is the foundation. You have to make yourself incredibly difficult to replace. In a world where AI and automation are just accelerating like crazy, the single most valuable thing you can possibly own is a skill set that a machine, a robot, just can't easily copy. This is all about becoming an inflation hedge in human form.
So I want you to just take a second here and ask yourself this question, and be honest. Could a robot, could an AI, do the core of your job in, say, 2 years? Now, if the answer is maybe or even yes, that is not a reason to panic. Not at all. It's a signal. It's a huge flashing sign telling you that now is the time to start building your defense.
And this slide gives us some really solid, concrete examples of what those defensible skills look like. We're talking about things like complex database management, or savvy digital marketing, or really specialized video editing. These are skills that require that human touch, right? Human ingenuity. And here's the kicker. Mastering skills like these, skills that are in super high demand but have a really low supply of talent, that's how people have literally doubled their salaries. I mean, going from 60 grand to 120 grand in a single year. When you have skills like these, you're the one who gets to command the premium.
And that brings us perfectly to step 2. Because, having the skill is one thing, but how you actually get paid for that skill is just as important. It is time to escape what I call the hourly trap. Think about it. If you're paid by the hour, or you get a fixed salary, you are, at a fundamental level, just renting out your time. And what's the problem with that? Well, there are only 24 hours in a day. That's it. Your earning potential has a hard physical ceiling that you just can't break through. To really, truly build wealth, you have got to break that connection between your time and your money.
This realtor analogy just makes the whole concept crystal clear. Imagine a real estate agent. It takes pretty much the same amount of work, the same open houses, the same boring paperwork to sell a $1 million house as it does to sell a $3 million one. But the commission, whoa, it is vastly different. You want to get paid for the result, for the value you create, not for the number of hours you punched on a clock.
Okay, so let's say you've done it. You've built the skills, you've changed how you get paid, and now you're seeing a big jump in your income. Awesome. Now comes what might be the most critical step of them all. Step 3, you have to mind the gap. That is, the gap between what you're now earning and what you're spending.
This right here, this is the number one trap. It gets almost everybody. You get that big pay bump, and what's the first instinct? Upgrade everything. The car, the apartment, the vacations, you name it. But if your spending just rises to meet your new income, guess what? You're right back on that same financial treadmill. It just might be a slightly shinier, more expensive version.
I love how this slide reframes that new money.
Let's say you make that jump from a $60,000 salary to $100,000. That extra $40,000, that is not just extra fun money. It's not just for spending. If you can manage to keep your lifestyle pretty much the same as it was before, that gap, that 40 grand, that becomes your wealth building engine. It's pure, high-octane fuel for your investments.
And a really crucial point here is that this whole strategy, it requires a pretty big mental shift. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme, not even close. It's all about playing the long game. So the final hurdle you've got to clear, it isn't really financial at all. It's psychological.
So what's the ultimate payoff for all this work, for all this patience? It's this, right here. It's not about a garage full of fancy cars, unless that's your thing. True financial freedom is about one thing: autonomy. It's about being able to look at your calendar and have the power to just say no to things you don't want to do. Why? Because you've built a life where you don't have to say yes to everything just to pay the bills.
So where do you start? Like today, right here. This is your homework. It's 3 simple steps. 1, audit your skills. Just ask yourself, is what I do AI-proof? 2, pick one high-value skill you can learn. Just one. And 3, dedicate just 5 focused hours a week to getting great at it. That's it. That's less than an hour a day. That is the very first step to becoming your own personal inflation hedge. So the only question left is, are you ready to start investing in yourself?